So here at the Office of Study Abroad, we offer many different services that could be advantageous for you as a student. One of them is peer advising and academic advising from the office. Peer advising is on a peer-to-peer level, from me, a peer advisor, and then academic advising is from one of the full-time workers in the office. Another thing we offer is pre-departure orientation. At this orientation, you will be prepared not only about your host country, but about studying abroad in general, and that will help you before you leave and then after you come back as well. There are also various study abroad alumni opportunities that are offered throughout the year. And at the office, we have various resources for study, work, and travel abroad if that so interests you after you graduate.
So as you're choosing your place to go study abroad, some of the goals that you might want to consider when you're studying abroad, the first one's definitely going to be exploring a culture that is of interest for you. Being in a world or being in a culture that has an interest or you have an interest in is definitely going to enhance your overall experience. Along with that, you might want to reflect on some foreign and familiar cultures that might be an asset or might help open your eyes to some of the different cultures that we have in the world. You'll also develop cross-cultural competencies, which is going to be a great asset for you in our globally connected economy.
Some other goals you might have when you're abroad are to improve your language and communication skills. Do you want to learn Italian? Do you want to learn Russian? How about some Chinese? Choose to go and study abroad in a country, and the immersion experience is going to help you immensely with your language abilities. You could also have a goal to meet new people from different cultures and different countries. Also, when you're studying abroad, you can use it to enhance your resume.
There are things you'd like to consider when deciding which program is the best fit for you. The biggest question you'll want to ask yourself is, what do you want out of your experience? Some of the things to consider are program type. So St. Thomas has a few of their own programs, so like the London Business Semester, where you go to London with other St. Thomas students and have St. Thomas professors. There are also other approved programs, so these are program providers that will help transition students from America that want to study abroad, and they'll place you into these universities, and the transition's a lot easier for you. And then you can also direct enroll, where you are actually enrolling into the university. Also to consider is living arrangements, so either like a homestay or in dorms. In a homestay, you actually live with someone from that country and you join their family for the semester and you experience what it's like to be a person who lives in that city. Or in dorms, you'll primarily be living with other college students that go to your university. Duration is also something to consider. There are shorter timed programs like JTerms, where you just spend January abroad, or in the summer, where the length range can vary between a couple weeks to a month and a half or so. Also, you can study for a semester or a year. So just depending on what you're comfortable with and what you want out of your study abroad experience will help guide that decision. And then also, courses offered is a big component into where you're going to be studying abroad. You want to stay on your plan to graduate in 4 years, so making sure the classes you are taking will count and come back as credit. And so before you leave, filling out that 4-year plan, knowing what courses you need to take, and being able to move them around if needed so you can stick on that plan to graduate in 4 years.
You're also going to want to consider the eligibility requirements of the programs that you are applying to. Most programs have a 2.5 minimum GPA, except for UMA and UST JTerms, which are a 2.0 minimum. But you also want to consider that some programs have a higher GPA requirement, so that is something that you're going to want to look into before applying. You also should think about whether or not you want an internship or do research abroad. Explore what internship and research opportunities programs provide if that is something that you are interested in. For me, I really wanted to do research, so I found a program that was right for me to do that. You also should think about extracurricular opportunities and look into what the programs offer to get involved outside of the classroom. And we know that cost is definitely a factor in your decision, so we will talk about that in the next slide. And now we're going to talk about one of the most important things to consider when studying abroad, cost. The cost is going to be comparable tuition as well as room and board as what you spend here at St. Thomas for a semester. However, there are going to be higher personal expenses when you're abroad because traveling on weekends or trying new foods on the weekdays is going to be something that isn't necessarily into your traditional tuition budget. It is important to note that your St. Thomas financial aid package does apply to your time abroad, and if you have any questions, the Office of Financial Aid has many different resources available to you.
It is important to apply for study abroad scholarships. There are some for many different majors, many different concentrations or locations, and they have a lot of money available to help finance your study abroad adventures.
So for those who don't know, I'm going to go through a little bit of the application process for a JTerm program. Now for a UST and UMAIE program, it's important to know that there is only UST program directors and students on these programs. For a UMAIE program, it is only UMA program directors and students that are allowed on these programs. In doing so, this program manages all aspects of everything you do, everything from housing to academics to on-site cultural excursions. Please remember there is one application to complete for these programs and that the October 1st deadline still remains. The priority deadline is April 1st to April 10th. So for the application you complete in between those days, it will take priority over the ones that are completed later. Please remember that there is no meeting to attend for this JTerm program.
Now we're going to run through the application process for other approved JTerm programs. So other approved JTerm programs are managed by a program provider like AIFS, IES, HECUA, or DIS. The program provider manages all aspects of the program. This includes academics, housing, on-site student support, and excursions. There's actually two application processes for this kind of program. One is to get approved to study abroad through St. Thomas, and the other one is to be approved and accepted into the program for the program provider. In order to attend a JTerm other approved program, you must attend an advising session, and there's an October 1st deadline. On other approved programs, there is no priority deadline, and it's also important to keep track of the specific deadlines based on the program provider. All right, the next steps in the application process for semester and year-long programs are, first, you need to contact the Office of Study Abroad, where a peer advisor will create an advising profile for you. After that, you're going to need to research some programs. You can do that in two ways. First, by coming into the office and going into our resource library, talking with peer advisors, or you can do that research online at the Study Abroad website. After narrowing down your decision to a couple programs, make an appointment to meet with a Study Abroad advisor. Study Abroad advisors will provide you with expert advice on the programs that you're deciding between. Lastly, it's important to consider the deadlines. There's two deadlines when applying to other approved programs. There's only one deadline for St. Thomas programs. Deadlines for full year, fall, and summer programs, March 15, and it's October 1st for spring and JTerm programs. Lastly, don't forget about scholarships. They're typically underapplied for and are a really good way to supplement your income during the study abroad experience.
So if you have any questions about studying abroad, we would be happy to help you out. Just come by our office in MHC 212. The office is open every day from 8 to 4:30, and peer advisors would be happy to help you out if you have any questions.
And while you're gone on all your amazing adventures abroad, don't forget to follow the Office of Study Abroad on our Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and share your adventures using the hashtag #Tommy'sAbroad. Don't forget to have fun and enjoy yourself.